joining us. I'm Martha DeGrasse here for AGL, and I'm joined today by Trey Nemeth. He is VP and General Manager for Raycap's Charleston, South Carolina facility, formerly Stealth. Trey, thanks so much for being here.
Thank you very much for having me.
I think that you are a great person to ask about what's been going on in the small cell market in 2020. Can you give us a little bit of background on the work that you do in the small cell market and a little bit of what you've seen in the year that's coming to a close?
Sure. Just to give you a little bit of background about what we do here, I'm the general manager of our facility in Charleston, South Carolina, as you mentioned. This facility is focused on the design and manufacture of infrastructure for the wireless industry. So we manufacture poles, mounts, concealment products, both for small cell and for macro wireless applications. So obviously, the industry is moving towards a small cell type of architecture, and our business is the same. Although the macro business remains strong, we're seeing small cell continue to grow. So there's been good growth throughout the year despite the pandemic, which has been really good news.
That is good news. Is it mostly millimeter wave or not mostly millimeter wave?
We're seeing a blend of both. It depends on the carrier and what they're trying to achieve. I think we're seeing more of a move towards millimeter wave. So we're generally building sites that are either 4G, 5G, or old architecture plus millimeter wave, or some that are 5G only. They're starting to become more prevalent, especially closer to the end of the year.
Okay, great. And mostly urban deployments, I'm guessing, with the concealment that you do?
So most of the work, as far as the concealment work is concerned, and this has been the case over the past couple of decades, it's urban applications, yes, but also a lot of suburban applications. So, it really is just a function of how strict the zoning regulations are, or in the case of the macro concealment, how strict the landlords are in the way that they'll be able to accept the appearance of the wireless site. So the small cell is no different than that. We're definitely seeing a lot of the initial deployments in urban centers, more highly developed, more highly populated areas. But whether or not they're concealed is more of a function, as I said, of how strict the rules are and the rules and regulations.
Sure. And so do you work directly with a lot of the municipalities and the associations in the suburban areas, or do you sort of go with the carrier customer and talk to them that way?
It's a blend of both. So we work directly with the carriers primarily, and we help support them. These are carriers and the tower companies as well, multi-tenant operators. So we're generally supporting them in providing, expert input on what might be possible as far as designing and building these sites and deployment. We're providing designs, conceptual designs, photo simulations, and renderings to assist in approvals, and in some cases even full-scale mock-ups that are used to be able to get an approval to build a specific design in a specific municipality. On the other hand, we are working directly with some municipalities. These might be some that we developed a relationship with previously. It really is just dependent on that. The other angle are the utilities. So we're also working directly with utilities to come up with designs that are acceptable to them, that are going on their poles, on their property, and kind of acting in some cases as a bit of a go-between with the carriers and the utilities, or the carriers and the municipalities. So it really is a blend of all of them. I've had to learn to be able to do business in this fashion, and so we really don't know from one opportunity to the next who's going to be taking the lead. We just try to do our best to support the carriers and all the stakeholders, and ultimately getting the site approved and deployed.
Excellent. Let's look ahead a little bit to 2021. Are you expecting to see a change in the business climate, or maybe not until the vaccine gets a little more permeated through society?
We, you know, obviously the impacts of COVID-19 on the business in 2020 have been real. There has been business growth in the wireless industry, and demand remains robust. Despite the pandemic, it's a good industry to be working in. We feel like there's quite a bit of pent up demand though for 2021. This is a function of some challenges associated with COVID, both in getting permitting and some construction related challenges. So we look for 2021 to be a busy year as well. As far as the changes that we see forthcoming, we have an eye on the current spectrum auctions. We look forward to the sort of more mid-band deployments, which come with some special challenges. So our customers are interested in impacts, for example, on the mid-band frequencies on both existing and new concealment products, because the concealment products that might have worked 5 years ago on lower frequency applications might not work for these new mid-band applications. So we're looking at that, and we're consistently doing new research and development on our existing and new products to be able to support that demand as well.
Okay, great. Now you came to Raycap through the Stealth acquisition a couple years ago. Can you give us a little bit of a flavor of how the opportunities for you and your customers have changed now that you're part of Raycap?
Sure. So being part of Raycap means being part of a larger company that has more resources and also more opportunities for working with different customer types. So with Stealth, we were a small company doing business in a very large industry. Most of our contacts were at the market level, and we're doing business on a kind of an individual site basis. This is the way the macro concealment business worked and continues to work. Once the Raycap acquisition took place, we had the resources to be able to work with the carriers on a corporate level and the tower companies as well, and help to set standards for small cell infrastructure applications, concealment applications, and work more on a nationwide scale. So it's been a great opportunity, and I feel like we do a good job of kind of striking the right balance of being agile enough to customize our products to meet specific market needs, but large enough and having enough resources to be able to do mass deployments to support that side of the business as well.
All right, Trey Nemeth, VP and General Manager for Raycap's Charleston, South Carolina facility. Thank you so much.